Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. So I want to take a couple of minutes today and just to address you guys and share some really important things with you. And to do with the da'wah, our approach, the times we live in, and how the Muslims are reacting to certain challenges that we face in the 21st century. Now, one thing that's happening is because of atheism being prevalent these days, many Muslims, because they don't understand the reality of, the nature of things, are turning away from Islam completely. But on the other hand, we have other Muslims who want to do something, want to take action, and what they do is that they jump straight to the philosophical, abstract argumentation to prove the existence of God, something I did myself initially. But what I want to share with you today is that the approach that the Quran takes. Now when we turn to the Quran, what we see is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seldom does He try to prove His existence. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does is that He takes us from His creative power to worshipping Him. And the way He does is, the strategy that's employed is that He reminds us of His signs. He tells us to look at His signs. He tells us to look into the creation of the heavens and the earth. He tells us to look at the alternation of the night and day. He tells us to look within ourselves. And this got me thinking as to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us clearly, look at His signs. But why can't we appreciate these signs? Let alone the non-Muslims, the Muslims themselves, we ourselves are not appreciating the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as they deserve to be appreciated. And one of the reasons I believe is because we develop a sense of arrogance. We think we know best. Because of the times we live in, especially with the scientific method, which I'm going to deconstruct and show you what it really is and how amazing it really is. But we live in a time where we have such methods, and for some reason we think we develop this sense of arrogance that we know how things work. We're so intelligent, we don't need God, we don't need to appreciate these signs. This is the sort of mindset that we develop. But what I want to do is I want to break this down, and the first thing I want to do is I want to share a profound verse from the Quran, which is found in chapter 16 verse 4. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something profound. He says خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِن نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. He says that He created, I'm paraphrasing, He said He created mankind from a drop of semen, a drop of mingled, despised fluid, and almost instantaneously this very creation stands in front of Allah as an adversary, as a contender. Think about this, brothers and sisters, for a second. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing. He's reminding us of our origins. He's reminding us that we came from a drop of dead fluid, dirty fluid. At 20, 30, 40 years later, we're a fully functioning human being who can think, who can reflect, who can ponder, who has senses to observe the physical world around us. Think about this. 20, 30, 40 years. Such a small period of time, we go from a dead drop of fluid to a fully functioning human being. And this really humbles us. It almost changes our mindset from, oh my God, I don't even believe in God. What's God done for me? I have science. I know better. To hold on, look at where you came from, mate. Look at where you came from. So instead of maintaining and being boastful or self-deluding yourself in the position that you're holding, that God doesn't exist, I don't need God, reflect over what's important. How did you go from A to B? How did you go from a drop of fluid to this creation? The atheists that may be listening in, the people that are just in complete denial of God may say, well, we have science. We know how a drop of despised fluid or mixed semen and egg go into or turn into a human being. We know this. And this is what I want to deconstruct now. For the Muslims and non-Muslims, because I want to really appreciate something. Science tells us the how. It can tell us, it can observe this process and tell us how it works. It can never tell us the why. I'll give you an analogy. Imagine you walk into a factory and there is a machine, and the machine is producing pens. You commission a scientist for 10 years to break down how this machine is producing the pens. He'll come back 10 years later with a detailed report, and he'll be able to tell you exactly how this machine works. He'll tell you the mechanics, how the gears are aligned, how everything works. But he can never tell you the why. He can never tell you who created the machine. He can never tell you who's in control of the machine. He can never tell you why the machine was created. These questions are beyond the scope of science. Now, just because science cannot answer these questions, it does not mean that these questions have no answers. Science is limited to what's physically observable. Once we can appreciate this, brothers and sisters, we will realize that yes, we went from a drop of fluid to a human being, and yes, science tells us the how, but who allowed this to happen? Can this possibly be a product of some blind random processes? Of course not. It allows us to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even more. And if anything, when we understand the how even of how things work, it should bring us closer to Allah. Why? I'll give you another analogy. Imagine a clock. The scientists come and they peel away the face of the clock, which has the digits written on it, the numbers written on it. They peel this face away, revealing the mechanics of the clock, revealing the gears and the precise alignments of these gears. And when we see this, if anything, it should bring us closer to the appreciation of the creative power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because now we can see how these things work. Subhanallah. So if anything, the scientific method brings us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it allows us to see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put these things into motion, how they work. And once we understand the method of science that can't tell us the why, we can really understand the true nature of things. And we can really once again go back to the signs of Allah and appreciate them for what they are. We can go back to the drop of fluid and how it turns into a fully functioning human being in 20, 30 years. And we can truly appreciate this and say, subhanallah, because this could not be a product of some random blind processes.